In reflecting on today's gospel, we see that Jesus is generous. And the slightest good deed done for him or for his kingdom will not go unrewarded, even if it's only giving a glass of water to someone who's thirsty. Our King lavishes his blessings on everyone who lets him. We as his followers ought to do the same. That's the challenge put before us. Unfortunately, however, many times we, like the Apostle John in this passage today, are less generous than our Lord. And we concern ourselves with hoarding those graces of God. We want to keep them for ourselves. And sometimes we refuse to give freely to others what we have freely been given from God. And other times we envy the good that others are doing, as if somehow it detracted from the good that we're doing or made us look bad. But it's not for us to limit the range of the divine benevolence by our own pettiness. Rather, it's for us to extend it, to encourage whatever good is being done anywhere around us, whether or not we get the credit. It's all for the glory of God. It's through his generosity that we've been given the gifts we've been given. And so today, this exchange that we have between St. John and Jesus in the gospel seems like a rather small one, but it actually gives us a glimpse into the very heart of God. God is pure goodness, pure generosity. There's no evil, no selfishness, not even the slightest smidgen of miserliness or envy in the heart of God. It's God's nature to shine with goodness, to spread goodness. God is always surrounding us with signs of his love, always wanting to fill our hearts with wisdom and grace and mercy and virtue. Over this past year, I have witnessed this same kind of goodness and virtue and generosity here at St. Mary's. Many people have offered themselves in generous service to one another, often at the sacrifice of their own time or expense. It might have been sending a meal to someone who was undergoing some medical treatment, or visiting or calling one of our homebound parishioners, providing comfort to someone who had experienced a death of a loved one or who was ill. So thank you who have done that for your sacrifice. And I'm so blessed here at St. Mary's to experience and to see how many of you are building up God's kingdom in these very concrete ways. During these past many months of the COVID pandemic, we've had to adjust and readjust our behaviors and the way that we live. When we resumed our masses, there was an entire group of generous people volunteering their time to sanitize our church building after every service. After every Mass, the church was cleaned and sanitized. Many people also made sure to send in their weekly monetary contribution to support our parish, even if they couldn't be here physically. And because of the generosity of our faith-filled parishioners, we've been able to maintain and even grow our parish ministries in some fashion. We've been able to maintain a balanced annual budget. And we've been able to provide for the needs of so many who are less fortunate, who stop by our offices or give us a call at the rectory, a call for help. You wouldn't believe how often we have that opportunity to serve those in need. We have a wonderful group of volunteers who take communion to the nursing homes and the homebound on a regular basis. And I can tell you that these people who receive this ministry are so very grateful for the opportunity to receive Jesus in Holy Communion, to connect with their parish church. And they have expressed that to me when I have visited them. Recently, one of our parishioners passed away, and her family expressed their great gratitude for that family member being able to receive Eucharist on a weekly basis because one of our communion ministers brought Jesus to her every week. What a wonderful blessing that was for her. And these might seem like small or even insignificant ways, but they have a large impact on how we extend God's generosity by extending ourselves and bringing God's love to one another. God's generosity is given to us to share with one another. Next weekend at all of our Masses, we're going to hold our Commitment Sunday for our offertory initiative. And we have several speakers from the parish who are going to give a witness talk about this love of God, how they see that enacted in their own lives. And our theme this year for our offertory initiative is Building God's Kingdom, Leading All to Christ. Your financial sacrifice does so much good. We care for those who are in need, as I've explained. We educate our young and we work with our adults in faith. We administer the sacraments to the faithful parishioners, and we celebrate those sacraments and the Mass together here in our spiritual home, all because of the generosity of our parishioners. This week you will be receiving a mailing, and in that mailing is a special brochure that will introduce this program, Building God's Kingdom, Leading All to Christ. Our community spent the past year responding to the historical crisis in so many ways, and I'm so proud to be a part of St. Mary's Church community because of what I see, the generosity of spirit. And so next weekend, I invite each of you to join together and participate in securing our parish's future. I ask you to please review the mailing, look at the brochure, and prayerfully consider how you and your family can help St. Mary's Church by financially supporting our ministries, furthering our mission, and reinforcing our future. I encourage you to take that time and pray this week when you receive that. May the generosity that we experience from our loving God be the motivation that you need to also continue to be generous in what you do. God bless you.